Hello, good evening. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. Um, it's been a while. I want to share today with you what it takes for you to start a business in Ghana, or what it takes for anybody to start a business in our country. There are so many statistics that they have put out there. You hear the politicians giving us a lot of data, the media people giving us a lot of data. You can, I mean, since I, for how many years now? Maybe 30 years now. When we were children, uh, they were always saying graduate unemployment. And I don't think it has changed that much. They still continue to speak the same English. And there have been a lot of government interventions, a lot of programs, and all geared towards how can we create jobs for our graduates. How can people how can people do something? You have people who have been employed all their lives, advising the youth to go into what they call the private sector. And so I'm talking about what it takes for you to start a business, or for you to do a business in our country. I I don't think that, in as much as government interventions can help, in as much as where developed business environment is so much critical to the success of the entrepreneurs that we are developing, or the people that we are encouraging to start businesses. In as much as I believe in all those, because you can go to some countries, you can see that they are producing more people who start businesses, and they are able to grow those businesses into giant, big companies. I think a lot of factors come into play, and I think that the business environment, the country, how it is set up, the culture, maybe by default, I don't know, how a lot of things have evolved in those countries have contributed to how they are able to produce a lot of these people who fidget with ideas, with something that looks like a business. And then after a while, you can see that it starts to make sense, and they start to build businesses. I think that in our part of the world, like in our country, if you want to start a business, it will not start, you don't have to start with the business books. You don't have to start with the MBAs. You don't have to start with the consultants' knowledge and the know-how. I think a lot of the things that they have been able to build are built on well-carved business environment. Ours, I think, will take a lot of the time. So sometimes you meet people who are trying to build business, or who have tried to go on their own, so to say. Where some friends will even tell you, I have always wanted to even be on my own, work for myself, and it's difficult. Those kind of languages. I think that there are some other things that you must have, or you must develop if you don't have them, for you to even try that idea that you have, that you want to turn it into business. Because almost everybody says that, I would want to start a business one day. I would want to start a business one day. I would want to. Some of them will even tell you, I started and it didn't work out. It's all good, but I think that there are some things that you must have. You must have them developed, or you must at least be conscious of them if you want to start a business in our part of the world. You must have a strong will. That's my first point. You must have strong will. You must be opposite what our society recommends. I think that if you look at our education, the content is for us to just go and look for job. Okay, so whether you have had degree, MSc, all those things that you went to school, or from day one, from primary school to university to all those, you've been programmed, whether you know it or not, to only look for job. You've not been programmed to go and turn that idea into building a business. So if you go out there and you think that you're educated, therefore you can build a business, you'll be deceived. Because the outside environment is so hostile, and yet the content that we have developed, if you so depend on the school, it's not there. And so you have to have this kind of person who would have to be that much strong will. You have to have that strength in yourself. You must have that inner maturity, at least a mind on your own, to say that I want to do this. I want to do this business. You cannot just say you can't be torn between, let's see if it will work, or don't, or maybe it will not work. Those kind of things for me will make you disappoint. You will get you disappointed. I think that you must just get it firm. You must get some firm grip on it that I want to go into this. You must have that strong will. You must have that. I think it's a requirement. It's not so much even the idea, but you must be resolute to say that I want to turn this idea into business. I want to do this. You must have that courage, because the environment is, if you put 1,000 people, if you look at your relationship, if you look at your friends, your family, your classmates, the community you live in, the church you go to, the radio you listen to, you are not getting more than 5% who, especially those of you who have some level of education. Doubt that you've been educated. Those of you who have that, you will not have more than 5%, I dare say, who would give you some kind of encouragement towards your decision to say that I want to start a business. Most of them would just say that go and look for a job. And the fact is that the job that you are looking for is not there. Most of us is not there. So you must have that strong will. You must be that. You must that. You cannot be that weak and think that you will be able to start this business, because the journey ahead of you, even in an environment that may a little bit support this kind of journey, you still must have some level of will that is strong. And so if you don't have that, it's going to be that much difficult for you to even stay for a week or 2 or 3, because the other things that you will see will scare you. The other thing you would have to know is that you must have a good idea, a good business idea. Not every business idea, I think, will be able to succeed in that kind of environment. And so you must have a good business idea that can work. And that, for me, a good business idea will come from the need in the environment, in the immediate environment, and the skill that you have developed. And the thing is that most of us don't even have any skill. That's the fact. We cannot produce any product on our own. We cannot create any process on our own that community or people or the market is ready to pay for. Most of us just have something with a certificate, but then the skill, you put us there to go and produce a furniture, we can't. You put us to go and produce a lamp, we can't. If you tell us to go and put some things together, we have. Majority of our people don't have any ready-made skill that that can produce a product for the market. So maybe the easiest will be either you go to put yourself into some kind of training to develop some basic skill that can easily create something that the market needs, or maybe you go and pick a product that somebody else has already created, and then maybe you develop the selling skill. And for me, that is the most the easiest skill that majority of people can. Because if you look at our course content, we are producing business administration people, marketing, sociology, psychology, all those Greek history. Those are the things that people are spending years, 4 years of their lives learning. And when you come out, nobody wants that nobody's ready for that. And then when you look at the other wing, the people who can be electricians and shoemakers, and make shoe or make bags or make jewelry or set up a restaurant, those people probably also did not go to school for 4 years, and so they may have some level of skill, but their confidence to even put a business together is also another thing. And so the people who have the education don't have the skill that the market can pay, and those who may have some level of skill to create also are not even confident in the things that they produce to even take it to the market. So there is some kind of shazing, there is some kind of separation between the two. But if you decide to start a business, then you must know what you don't have. And then you may have to just go and look at, okay, what can I create? What can I create? What is it that I have that I can turn into a skill that the market is ready to pay for? It's so much important. Don't just go and do anything and think that it will be a business. Not no. Sometimes it can be just a hobby or a niche, but it's not something that you can create, build something around it, and make it a business that can, bring in some cash and employ people. So look, because there are so many needs in our country, so many. If you look across any industry, whether it's construction, whether it's retail, whether it's agriculture, whether it's housing, whether it's waste, everywhere that you look, there is a need. Now, look at what you can offer. And if you don't have the skills, I submit that maybe you may have to take some time off, go and train yourself. It doesn't matter what degree you have. If nobody is ready to pay you for that psychology that you have, no skill. Sometimes they come for interview and you say like, this man, there's no skill. Even when you tell him to go and sell something, they can't sell. No skill. And yet they're looking for a job, and some of them are even looking to start a business. With what? And so, and I will not blame you for that. It takes some kind of information, but it can be frustrating if you are trying to start a business that you have no skill to start with. You don't even know what you can sell, what you can produce, what the market needs. You just say, I want to start a business. It can be that frustrating. That's why you can meet somebody who have been in school who has completed school for years and still thinking, I want to start a business, but they cannot connect with any idea because they don't have a skill that is producing anything. And sometimes that will take you years for you to get the understanding that I need to work on something. For instance, if let's say you were in one of those universities and maybe you were reading African studies, for instance, and you still had the time to go and learn how to maybe paint or something, or how to maybe make furniture, or how to even sew. By the time that you complete school, you have your so-called knowledge, which is the degree that most people are proud of. And then you have the skill that most people would want, because if you go to the market with the people who are sewing, they get paid. So you have to combine it, or you're going to be frustrated. Now, what I know the government is trying to do something, they call it initiative, entrepreneurship and all that, but what they are trying to do is to just help the youth to get a job. Now, what you have to understand is that starting a business is not looking for a job. They are different. Sometimes it may be out of necessity. The fact that you're not getting anything to do, that's why you start a business. But really, if you want to start a business, you want to solve more problems than just looking for salary. So you have to have that kind of thinking, that what I'm looking for is beyond just looking for salary. I'm looking for a problem to solve, and I'm looking through myself, what skill do I have? And what need is in my immediate environment that people are ready to pay me for. So look around, what skill that you have. It can be a product skill, it can be a process skill. Sometimes the skill that you have may not necessarily be something that is tangible, but maybe the way you communicate, maybe the way you convince people, maybe the way you're able to organize people, maybe the way you're able to move on when nobody else is going, maybe the way you're able to sit down and create a solution when there seems to be, no solution. That can also be a skill. So look through yourself and know that the business will need a skill, the other thing is you have to understand that the state institutions are not ready for you. They will say a lot of things on TV, but when you start a business, when you're even going to register the business, you pay tax before you start a business. They will call for permit. That you are hobo, you're struggling, and you want to start a business, and they're asking you for permit. They're asking you to pay tax before you even register the business. So the state institutions are not even aware of the volumes of I think the quantum of the problems that people that they encourage to start businesses face. So I would say that don't just look for help from them. You can push if you want to set up a social organizations to cause that change. But if you're building a business, if they come, deal with them as they come, and don't look for mercy or don't look for sympathy from them. Just be tough. Don't be looking for help from. So I don't be saying that we are graduates. You are trying to do something and you're frustrated. They will frustrate you. Okay, so just tune yourself like that. You need to have that kind of psyche. You need to have that kind of mindset if you are ready to start a business in our country. Don't just be Anybody thinking that, these people should help us, they will not help you. They will come and threaten you. They will close it. They will come and take income tax even if you don't make anything. That's the setup, and I think that our setup is still colonial. It's still not supporting entrepreneurs. It's still frustrating creativity and innovation and independence in thinking. You know, that is it. Maybe it will take another 10 years or 20 years for us to change it. But you don't want to wait for that to change. You want to still start your business. And so understand them. Understand your position so that you're not taken unaware, because those things will come, and they will come big time. The other thing that you have to know is that friends and families are not expecting you to say that you want to start a business. They expect you to go and look for a job. And so that could also be so you have to have strength to deal with that, friends, families, to deal with those groups, right? Because they are not. So if you can think like that, then whatever they say will not take you by surprise, because you know the psyche, you know how they think. So, and the thing is that when you start, you will make a lot of the errors. You make a lot of the mistakes, especially those of us who have no skill, but we still want to start business. We may be so much naive in finance. We may be so much naive in the product. We may be so much naive in the market. We may be so much naive. We may even not be sure of ourselves. There are so many things that we may not be sure of, but we still, because we just believe that we must do something. We just believe that there's something within us that can come out, maybe if you try a business. And so those kind of people, don't expect the family to encourage you. If you so happen to have one or two family members encourage you, or friends encourage you, you're so fortunate. But if nothing comes, this is a dream. This is a dream. It takes a lot of effort to deal with that kind of group, because when anything starts, it doesn't look well. It looks dirty. It looks there are a lot of uncertainties. It doesn't look like rich. It looks poor. It looks dejected. It looks lonely. It looks like an orphan when you start a business. That's how it looks like. So your office may be your room. You may not have any money on you to even take trotro, but then you so believe. You may even have one shoe. That's what it takes. So if you're looking for all the comfort, you don't need it. As a matter of fact, they say that if you start a business, the very ingredients that you need to keep this business going, the toughness that you develop. So when they give you a lot of help, they have really shortchanged you in terms of the ingredients, the quality that you need to develop in yourself. So I don't expect that much from family. And the general culture is also not it. If you don't believe it, listen to the radio. Watch social something media. We are very much in tune with things that will make us laugh and smile and joke and have fun, but the things that will cause us to think and create, most people are not really for it. So if you start a business, don't think that the whole group or the whole community will clap for you. They don't understand that. We were grown up to look up to the government to create jobs. That's how we were grown up. We were grown up to look at multinationals to start jobs. Then we go and work. We're grown up to wait for a foreigner to come and start a business. Then we go and send our CV. That's how we're grown up. So if you say you want to start a business, the society does not really understand that, especially if you went to school. The other guy who probably started or selling something on the street will tell you that because he didn't go to school, that's why he's selling on the street. He doesn't know that there's so much difference between starting a business and going to school. Solving problems of society and going to school are entirely different. But, that's how it is. So the culture does not understand that. So if you have a certificate, nobody expects you to start a business. Nobody. They don't expect you. They expect you to go and become the director general of some government institution, and then they'll be proud of you. Or go and get a multinational company and become the PR or the accountant or the engineer or something like that there. So these are some of the things that you must deal with if you want to start a business in Ghana. And I can tell you there are things that are for sure. One of it is that if you're persistent, you will succeed. If you're persistent, if you don't give up, you will succeed. If you're honest in your dealings, you will succeed. These are virtues that you have to go with if you want to start a business in our country. You have to be creative and you have to be so much hard working if you want to succeed. Persistence, You have to be honest. You have to be creative. Think on your feet. Solve problems. Don't just be dogmatic in your thinking. Don't be traditional in your thinking. Be open for solutions and be hardworking. But for me, the utmost part is the honesty. Be honest. Go for that which is clear, which is clean, that you nobody is going to doubt you. Grow with that. It may take time, but you will succeed. And that's how you develop the muscle. Don't expect your business to work out in the first 1 year, 2 years. No, because you're finding out. If it so works out, fantastic. But usually you are going to make a lot of the errors, a lot of the mistakes, a lot of the challenges will come. Don't give up. Keep pushing yourself, and it will work. That's how it takes. So if you start a business in our country, it takes a lot of effort. So I'm wrapping up. My name is Kwabena. I'm talking about what it takes to start a business in our country. And my points are, you have to have strong will. You must be confident. You must have that self-belief. You must have that. If you want to succeed, or if you want to, what it takes to start a business in the country is you must have some level of self-confidence. Don't trivialize it. You need it. You so much need it. If you ask everybody for opinion and still not sure, you will fail. The other thing is that you need a good idea. A good idea means that you have the skill and the environment, the market is ready for that skill. So, and I said that most of us are not ready. We don't have skill to produce anything. We just went to school with literature. We wrote the exam, you pass. Even now, engineers, the science, the computer science, they can't even produce anything because of this. Because maybe because of the kind of education that we are giving. So you have to find a way of getting a skill that can produce a product that the market needs. And then you can build a business around it. So if you have to put yourself in another technical school, you have to do that if you really want to build a business. Whether you're producing a physical product or non-physical products. And the other thing is that you must know that state institutions are not there welcoming you and happy and clapping for you. They will frustrate you. So because they don't know, it's still fundamentally colonial. That's my position. They are not going to. They don't think that majority of our people need people. One of the best skills that we need as a people are people who can systematically create businesses to employ people. That is the kind of people we need. And yet, when we have thousands of them trying, we frustrate all of them and then they give up and they all start to look for job, and if they don't find a job, they start to become politicians or they start to become, religious leaders and preachers. And the other things that you will see is that the family and friends, they will not understand what you're doing. So you have to have a way of handling that element also. And the general culture will not expect you to start a business. They expect you to go out for a job. But I also said that if you're persistent and you're hardworking, if you're honest and you can think on your feet, you succeed. One of the things that you also need is you have to have the ability to keep on learning, continually learning. If you do that, you become better. So 1 year, the whole thing that what you can learn when you start a business in 1 year, if you're a student, you'll be shocked. You learn so much, and then you continue to push yourself. So when somebody would have talked about business plan and feasibility studies and all those, I don't buy those things. Business plan, feasibility studies, and maybe your second business, maybe your third business, your first business, you don't even know yourself. So just pick an idea, see what the market needs, try it and see. If it works, perfect. If it doesn't work, try another one. Try until you succeed. That's how it is. After all, if you're looking for a job, you go for one interview, they don't take you. You go for another one, they don't take you. You go for another one, they don't take you. You can continue to look for until you get a job. That's how business can also be. You try the idea, it doesn't work, continue to try, it doesn't work. There are so many things that you have to learn. There are so many things that you're going to learn, but at least it start to make sense to you. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for watching. I took some break and hopefully I will continue to do these videos. It's our passion, at least that we can wake, we can get some people thinking, some people build some business for themselves. So thank you very much for watching.